Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So today, U.S. market is roaring higher. Bitcoin is heading up. And more importantly, altcoins are skyrocketing once again. But there is something that's holding Bitcoin back. And it could soon be gone. So what is that? And what else is going on today? Let's discuss. Good morning, guys. Welcome. Oh, I forgot. Here's the morning bell. Best bell in the industry. Still going strong. But you can see Bitcoin, 20,000, 23,200. Not too shabby. But today we have some good movers. I noticed that Polygon is finally moving. Cardano is still strong. But look at Polygon up 14%. Been stagnant for a while. Cody is going up, and several others are pumping. That's good. Aptos is still going crazy. These are all great things. And if you look at, I haven't shown this in quite some time because it was all red before for basically a year, but now we're finally seeing all greens. That's what we want to see. Good recovery all around. Right? But what's going on today? And what is, more importantly, holding Bitcoin back? Well, you can see today the U.S. market opened completely in the green. NASDAQ up big, right? So these are good things. GDP number came out better than expected, okay? GDP rose 2.9% in the fourth quarter versus estimations of anywhere from 2.6 to 2.8%. So this is actually a good thing. But why is this not crashing the U.S. market, right? Good economic data should be crashing the U.S. market. Why is it not? And this is not the only good data that came out this morning. Initial jobless claims, people that are out of work and claiming for unemployment, dropped down versus estimates, 186,000 versus 205,000. That's also fantastic, okay? So how come these good, strong economic data is causing the market to go up? Well, you would think it should, right? But that's because people are no longer afraid of Powell. That could be a mistake, maybe premature, but we will see next week. Because over 99% chance right now, at least this is what according to economists, what they're predicting, that the next rate hike will only be 25 basis points. Not 50, not 75, 25. Because inflation is heading lower. So now we're getting to a point where we're no longer afraid of Powell. And good economic data is actually just good economic data. It just shows that the U.S. market is strong and we're not falling into a deeper recession. That's the fear for 2023. So many predicted that in 2023, the economy was just going to get much worse because maybe Powell and the Fed went a little bit too far. Well, the numbers are still strong. GDP is still strong. You would figure the GDP number for Q4 should be weak, but actually blew through expectations. So that's good, right? So next week we can, after hearing what Powell says, and if he does the 25 basis point rate hike, and he's like, okay, that's enough. I don't think we need to do any more. I mean, just watch out. Next Thursday, we could see an explosion that we haven't seen in a very, very long time, right? So there's that. Also, earnings. American Airlines posted record revenue. People are still flying, getting around. Comcast beats expectation, even though people are cutting the cord, right? I mean, left and right, all good news. Tesla recorded some fantastic news with their earnings. They beat revenue, they beat profits. And look at it, they're up almost 11% today, right? So today is not a good day to be a bear. Not one bit. Today is an all-around good day. Everything is heading higher. All right, but with all that said, Why is Bitcoin not back up to 25,000 or 30,000 yet? What's holding Bitcoin back? Well, there is one thing, but it could be lifted soon, and that is tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last Friday of this month. Every Friday, well, every month, I should say the last month of every Friday, there's usually a huge options expirations and futures expirations. Okay, it's both. CME, they have futures expiring the end of the month every, basically last Friday. Options does expire. There's a ton of options contracts left and right, but generally speaking, the last one of the month is the most important with the most volume because it sets the tone for the next month and the upcoming months, right? So tomorrow we have basically $1.5 billion worth of options about to expire, right? And the bears, well, they don't want to lose their money, okay? But if Bitcoin closes above 23,000, it will absolutely wreck the bears. Absolutely wreck them because, wow. Just look at it. So how could the bulls win, right? If you look at like between 20 and 21,000, there's about 13,000 calls versus 7,100 puts, right? And 21 to 22, 17,000 calls versus 2,800 puts. And then 22,000 and 23, you have 21,000 calls, 1,100 puts. And then above 23,000, 25,000 calls, 0 puts. Basically, there's no bears that's expecting that wants to bet against this. But you can see overall, there's a lot more calls. And generally speaking, yes, you could sell calls, but generally speaking, most people are buying long calls, open calls, because they're predicting that price will go up, right? And generally speaking, puts are the bears, the ones that think that the price is going to go down, right? But there's definitely a lot more bulls now than bears, and very little bears is left to hold the line. So as we go higher, as we break higher, the bulls are going to just decimate and trample the bears. And this could definitely be a good thing because we will probably get more short squeezes and cause the price to go higher. But there is this coming up tomorrow. You have a big options expiration, big futures expiration, right? But if all goes well, 30,000 could be right around the corner. The way we're moving right now, the accumulation, the start of FOMO, the growing fundamentals, there's no doubt we are recovering from bottom and we could see some good times ahead of us. Exciting. Very, very, very exciting. This is measuring realized price of long-term holders and short-term holders. And why this is important is because the last time Bitcoin's price crushed through all of these metrics, well, that was back in 2019. Again, when Bitcoin broke out from its bottom around $3,000 and it finally broke up to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. Then it went on a tremendous run to 14,000 before it cooled off and came back down, right? We're looking at the same exact point right now where Bitcoin has just broken through short-term realized price, normal realized price, long-term realized price, just like back in 2019. So this relates to the video I created yesterday morning about can Bitcoin double up in 2 weeks? That's actually kind of what happened in 2019. It didn't go up that much that fast, but over the next few, like 3 or 4 months, it got pretty close to the previous high, right? So we'll see. It's getting exciting. Very, very exciting. And then, of course, people that have been accumulating, right? You got the crabs, the shrimps, the sharks, the whales, right? Basically, everyone is stocking up right now. This is what it's showing, right? It's good. It's good. What else is going on? I saw this. El Salvador's Bitcoin City wins International Architectural Design Award. I'm like, okay. Like, how did it win? Well, and then I saw this. I'm like, wow. If they could really make their future Bitcoin city look like this, powered by volcanic Bitcoin bonds, basically, it would be quite amazing. Quite amazing if they can make it look like this, right? El Salvador, I just covered about them. I've been covering about them a lot. IMF is no fan of El Salvador because they started a trend. Now we have so many countries looking to embrace Bitcoin in some form or fashion, and the IMF and the World Bank hates that. They're losing their grasp, right? Slowly but surely. And they're still doing what they can to spread FUD about what President Bukele has done, right? About Bitcoin, about stable coins, and I mean, just everything. But they are losing. They're losing the war. And then lastly, I know you guys love SBF. I have to cover this because this kind of shows you who SBF is, right? SBF, turns out, put in $400 million into this obscure VC firm, okay? And this is not Alameda. This is someone else. This is just some other firm that no one knows about, okay? And people are wondering why. Why did he just give them $400 million out of nowhere? Well, it turns out one of the co-founders of this VC firm used to be an ex-girlfriend of SBF. So, do you see the pattern here? You see the pattern here? So basically, anyone that he had a relationship with, he just gives them hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. So this is pre-Caroline, right? So whoever this girl is had some kind of relationship with SBF, and then he's like, okay, take $400 million, no problem. And then Caroline came along, and then he's like, okay, yeah, take $8 billion, no problem. I just have to laugh at that. And then now it's turning out that, yeah, FTX owes everyone, even Netflix, even Wall Street Journal. I don't know if they didn't pay for this subscription. I don't know what it is, but it shows that media companies, airlines, universities, charities, everyone is owed money. Everyone. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, what's more important is hopefully FTX does resolve. I mean, the new CEO says there's a chance that maybe they could reopen. Maybe they can sell enough assets and reopen and pay back everyone that's owed money. Who knows? Hopefully that's coming, and hopefully anyone that has money stuck there can claw back some of it. Okay. All right. That's it. Let's do some Q&A. I'm really glad to see Polygon start moving. I know a lot of people were questioning why Polygon couldn't move while others, broke out, right? Finally, good to see that they're moving a bit. But we got a lot of, basically, if you haven't noticed, a lot of L1s and L2s. A lot of L1s and L2s are coming up in a big way, right? They're the most exciting right now. You also have DeFi that's doing good. You have some AI plays that was doing good, but kind of fizzles out now. But L1s, L2s are definitely leading the recovery right now. Oops, I forgot to start. Oh, no, my Rumble thing couldn't start. Someone said it's not on Rumble. I tried to start it, but it said failed. I don't know why. All right, let's see here. Still scrolling here. Someone says 35K end of February. Someone else says 30 or 40K by May or June. Then sideways end of year to 25. That's a big drop off. If we do hit 40K in short order, I do think we're going to see a major drop off from them. But if it's just slow and steady like this, be quite okay. Filippo, appreciate that. Phantom is also running. I was trying to look up to see why Phantom has been running. I think the only thing is that conference. There's another conference that's going on in Miami right now, and it's led by Phantom. They had a lot of speakers, their own guys speaking, and they have a booth and stuff like that. I think that's what's causing enthusiasm, but also they've just been very oversold. I told you guys I'm a fan of Phantom, fan of Polygon, fan of a lot of these L1, L2s. Glad to see them move in a big way. 20% today, 21%. Good stuff. I'm very curious on Cosmos, especially if we hit a bull run. Well, Cosmos, one of the leading L1s out there. I'm a big fan of Cosmos. I just did a whole thing about Cosmos yesterday. One of their major dApps, Injective. Well, it's a whole L1 really, but got a huge funding. Cosmos tends to be stagnant at times, but I think they're very exciting. BNB hasn't moved recently. Thoughts? It always happens. Every single cycle, there's times where it seems like BNB will just not move for whatever reason. I guess other people get into others, and but BNB always then finds some point, and then it just shoots up like crazy, and people regret not holding on to any. And here's the thing: the other ones that's been going up, like Polygon, Solana, these guys, and Avalanche, they're coming up. Phantom, Cosmos, right? But to put things into perspective, they're all small compared to BNB's market cap. BNB is like $50 billion market cap. They are huge. So it takes a lot more money to move something like BNB, but it always happens. I've seen it many, many times where everything else is moving and then BNB doesn't, and all of a sudden, boom, BNB starts shooting up, and then people regret not holding on to some. Sihan? Is that how you say it? Sihan? I never really looked into Sora, to be honest, okay? I think they're the project where the CEO is wearing some kind of like samurai suit in his profile picture, and ever since I saw that, I got turned off, and I said no thanks. I'm pretty sure that's the project, but besides that, I haven't done any research into it. Mike, I have no thoughts about Core Scientific. It's not something I really care about. If they survive, great. But if you're asking about whether or not they're a good stock pick, I don't know. I don't keep track of the minor stocks. So the only ones I kind of look at are Coinbase and MicroStrategy. Well, it looks like U.S. market wants to pull back a little bit. Dow is barely clinging on green, but Nasdaq is still very strong. And Tesla's still very strong, but not as high as 160. BDC is pulling back a little bit, 23,000. Yeah, I think tomorrow's options and futures expiration, I think that could be a turning point where, you know, we've been stuck like under 23,000 for a while, right? That could be the next, setting up the stage for the next leg up. Possibly, we'll see. But in the meantime, alts are still doing very good. The elephant, you had a whole year, more than a year, to accumulate. So I don't have any. No, I'll reword it. No, I don't agree with you. I don't want the crypto market to stay down longer to accumulate because we had over a year of accumulation. Do you think 10 ETH is enough? Enough for what? For retirement? Probably not. For financial freedom? Maybe someday. But 10 ETH is about 16,000, right? So that's not enough for either at this point, right? But maybe in the future. I'm really looking forward to next week. Next week, what Powell is going to say. Are we really going to get a 25 basis point hike? And what else he's going to say, right? If we're really going to just stop at 4.5% and we're not going to head to 5%, that would be absolutely spectacular. Then some of the good economic data could actually be good for markets, could actually drive markets higher, not down. So I'm looking forward to next week. It'll be a big thing. It'll set the tone for sure. Set the tone for the remainder of this year. My sister's X20 my yearly salary on Tesla options. Okay, great. Do I have any older cars? I would love to collect some older cars. I'd love to get a 69 Camaro SS someday. You don't see a lot of Asians drive muscle cars around, but I wouldn't mind. I just don't have time. I don't have time or space. Hopefully with my new house, I will. But, yeah. ETH after Shanghai upgrade. Well, this one is not. There's not a lot of changes other than adding unstaking. So there were other bigger pieces that the team decided to remove because they want to make sure that this unstaking goes, goes smoothly. Basically, this upgrade goes smoothly, and everyone will, will have that ability, and then they'll go work on other things. That may take a while to implement. Do you think 2020 GTR 40K miles for 75K is a decent buy? You know, quite honestly, for 75K, I would not be getting an old GTR. GTRs have lost all their appeals, and they're not that fast anymore. I just saw a video about a new GTR versus a new X3M, which is an SUV, and it got blown away by the X3M. So modern cars now are way, way, way faster. C8Z06 or Raptor R. Well, just get both. They don't even compete with each other. I have not seen any Raptor Rs yet. And C8Z06, I'd love to get one, but I don't want to overpay for it. And Chevy dealerships are notorious for price gouging. How do you feel about when you first became financially free? What is life like now? Life is pretty easy. It's pretty easy. Way easier than before. I don't know how to describe it, but you know, I still have my routine, I still have my schedule, I still work very hard at growing the brand and the channel and stuff like that. But yeah, I have no bosses to worry about. I don't have to worry about snow or rain and heading to office and traffic jams and not being able to pay the bills. You know, it relieves a lot of the burdens that most people feel they basically have forever, right? Until retirement, and people are retiring later now because costs of services and goods and houses have gone up dramatically within the last 20, 30 years. So becoming financially free is awesome. Awesome. Doesn't mean that you have to retire, but just being able to break through your normal 9 to 5, breaking the chains of that, and be able to do what you want without the burden of always worrying about money, it changes things in a big way. In a big way. Nothing beats the sound of an old school big block. I agree with you. I love muscle cars. That's why I hate EV cars. I hate EV cars because they're boring. There's no emotional attachment. It's like buying a new Galaxy phone or iPhone, right? It's useful, but you're not attached to it. Not like the old school cars. So why can you only go 15 minutes back in your live stream? I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe it's too long. That's why. Ron Paul, we need a SBF Adventures gold ticker video. Sorry, no more SBF Adventures. Although I had a blast creating the first one. Wow, what's going on with Dow? Dow turning red. Nasdaq still leading the way. Cody, short term, long term. I like the small market cap. Cody has been doing good recently because of DJUD, and it's been hyped up for a very, very long time. Very long time. Over a year. It's finally coming. I think this week. And that's why they're going up. I think it's good for them. They have a good attachment with Cardano, but overall they're in the payment space. It'll be interesting to see what happens after it gets released. Whether or not there's like a, their continuous, I don't know, momentum with Cody, or they kind of die off. I actually don't know. I've always said I was neutral on them, but it's interesting that they're partnered up with Cardano for this. But Cardano also is coming out their own stablecoin too. But in the meantime, they are definitely doing very well. Which coin has the most potential? Quant, compound, fetch, or engine? I don't know. I'd say they're pretty equal. All of them are pretty equal. Lay serve. Appreciate it. Good morning from Colorado Springs. Jenny, I can't wait to retire. I have a few years, but I'll get there. Hopefully in my 50s. I actually like came really close to my goal. Really close, because when I was in my 20s, yeah, I think when I was in my 20s or early 30s, I'm like, I want to retire by 40, right? And I missed it by basically a year, but I'm not really retired. I don't think I can retire. I still, even if I became a billionaire by like next year, which I'm not, I'm just saying, even if I became a billionaire, I would probably still stream because I enjoy it. Honestly, I just probably wouldn't stream as much, but I would still stream. It's just like part of my life now. So I just like to stream or create videos. So I don't know. I think it's probably the same with all the other billionaires out there. They continue to go on TV shows and, conduct business, because what else are you going to do with your life? You have to do something. Jimmy, I was in IT. I was a system architect before quitting that. Never looking back. You should make a video of your past and show us how to become financially free. I'm showing you guys through DCing, through not falling for FUD, not trying to outsmart the market. The things I preach are the things I've learned over the years. I've always said, don't play with leverage. I've lost way too much money trying to outsmart the market, trying to leverage trade. Even though so many people say, "Oh, look at me," or they post, pictures of a 300% gain, or whatever. They don't show you all the liquidations that they have seen too. No one ever wins with with leverage. In the long run, everyone loses except the exchanges. So don't try to outsmart the market. Don't play with leverage. Whenever you feel like you need to give up on something, like, I don't know, like when ETH dropped down recently to like 800, when you thought that it was time to call it quits and give up, that's usually a bottom sign. Usually when you can't take it anymore, give it another day or so, and usually that's when things turn around. I've also learned that, trying to outsmart the market by panic selling and thinking that I could buy back lower, generally speaking, turns out for the worse. Because generally speaking, when you can't take it anymore, that's when things turn around, and then you're buying back at a higher price, and you end up with less tokens. Another thing I learned. And I've done the math. Had I just held on everything since the beginning, and not tried to swing trade or day trade or do any of the nonsense stuff. And had I just held on and DCA'd, I would be way better shape than I am now. And it's really that simple. People don't want to hear that because it takes time. Because everyone that jumps into this space thinks, I need to hop on something because they see something like Aptos go up 50%. So they're like, I need to throw in 10K and then watch it go up 100% so I can pull out 10K in like a week, right? Very rarely does that happen because by the time you notice and you jump in, that's usually when it goes down, right? Most people don't want to hear, oh, you just slowly DCA over time and then in 2, 3, 5 years, you're going to be up a few 100%. They don't want to hear that. They're like, 5 years? I don't want to hold for 5 years. But that's how you make life-changing wealth. That's how you make generational wealth also. That's why I preach it. Hopefully those tips help. All right, Overcome, appreciate that. Let's call it a day. So overall, today's a pretty good day. Almost everything in the green. Deep in the green. And that's good. That's good. But I do think there's more coming. And I do think there's one thing holding Bitcoin back. And that's tomorrow. And it could be lifted. So we will see. We will see. All right, I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.